How is your mental jiu-jitsu? How much effort do you put into your mental training? Welcome to Beauty in the Gi, the podcast about jiu-jitsu and so much more. I'm Jen Eads, a blue belt full of curiosity and questions, even though I did get some questions answered this morning at class, but now I have more.
That's how it always happens, right?
Always.
I'm AJ Klingerman, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, obsessed with Jiu-Jitsu.
And this is part 2 of us going through the mental edge. Maximize Your Sports Potential with Mind-Body Connection by Kenneth Baum with Richard Trubo. If you haven't listened to part 1, which was the last episode, we invite you to go back and listen to that. This can also be a standalone, but there's some really good stuff.
Yeah,
I think in the first part of the book, the 10 perception stretchers, which were my favorite, which I highly recommend.
I'd like to point out the difference in how we prepare with you having like this beautiful written notes, and I just have a whole bunch of Post-its stuck in the book and lots of writing in the book, of course. But
has your cat chewed on the corner of your book?
My cat has not chewed on the corner of my book, so you know I didn't get that preparation.
Yeah. Where do you want to start today?
So we're talking a lot more about the visualization, mental game side of it. And one of the things he wrote that just really stood out, there were lots of things, but the first thing I have earmarked is that your central nervous system does not differentiate between real and imagined events, which is cool and terrifying.
Right?
Cool if you're doing a positive thing, terrifying if you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
This is why we have anxiety.
Well, and I mean, even, you know, if you think about a bad dream and how real
that when you wake up
feels.
and you're like mad at your partner because they
yeah.
Or you're like sad because they were mad at you in a dream or something like that.
Oh, yeah. Beth will totally wake up and be mad at me. Like, wait a minute.
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was really interesting that your nervous system doesn't really know the difference.
That's fascinating. Our bodies and our minds it's amazing how they work together.
I know. So we're going to talk a lot about positive self-talk, which I think most of us could use to work on. I know not everybody. There was a post recently, I think on the Women's Grappling Network, and this woman was talking about somebody said like they weren't nervous for a tournament, like, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, man, it must be nice being a man. And a couple of the women came on and were like, I don't know why that has to be a man. I'm confident in tournaments. And, you know, most of the women are like, I feel you. Like,
Yeah.
Confidence is hard. It's really hard.
But after reading this book, I do see a pathway.
I do too.
To at least ride with it.
Yes.
And not let it drive. Like, it can be in the car.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always going to have that. And I think part of that is just the desire to go out and do a good job. And, you know, when you've set goals and expectations for yourself, like, you don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that we beat ourselves up more than we need to, for sure. And one thing I wrote down was not with that attitude. You know, like people all the time are, you know, talking about like we've been prepping for Worlds. And so, you know, I'll have one of my girls say something like, well, you know, I just want to go out and try to survive. Or, you know, like, I don't think I'll win. And it's like, well, of course not with that attitude. You have to at least think you'll win. You have to at least think that it's in the realm of possibilities for it to be in the realm of possibilities.
Exactly.
You know, we talked on the last podcast about that guy that broke the 4-minute mile. He wouldn't have done that had he not at least thought it was in the realm of possibilities. And then lots of people did it because they knew then that it was in the realm of possibilities. Research shows that positive self-talk can make you more confident and focused. So being able to say good things about yourself, which I think maybe some of us struggle with.
Did you point at you or me?
I pointed at me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
You point at yourself. You know, when they say like you point at somebody and 3 fingers point back at you, I was just like pointing all of my fingers at me. I was like, it's me. Hi, it's me.
It's always us.
It's always us. Always.
Well, you mentioned something before we started recording about there's an exercise where he wants you to write down 5 good things about yourself or, what you're good at your sport.
Yeah.
Was that easy for you?
Yeah, I wrote down 2.
Okay. Did it take you a while to come up with those 2? Or were you like, no, I'm really, I feel pretty solid about my ability with these 2 things?
I felt really solid about one of them.
Okay.
One of them was so easy. I did not struggle with one of them, which is I know a lot of jiu-jitsu.
That is so true.
I know a lot of jiu-jitsu. And I can say I'm a really good instructor. I do know I'm a good instructor. And those things to me don't feel arrogant to say, I guess because it's just confidence. You know what I mean? Which is I'm not good at. This is to turn into a therapy session. But those things don't feel arrogant me saying because they just feel like facts.
Well, you've got so many repetitions in with those things.
Yes.
You've been doing jiu-jitsu for a while.
A very long time. Yeah. And I study,
yes.
right? I don't just study the moves of jiu-jitsu. I study other instructors and how they teach and what I like about it and what, I don't like and how, I watch the rest of the room and how they're reacting to the instruction and if they're getting it, all of that. I do study the teaching aspect a lot. The second thing I wrote was I can execute my game plan, which is true if nobody's fighting me. So if they're not stopping my game plan. But those were the 2 things that I started with. Did you write down any?
I did not.
Okay. All right. Can you come up with at least one right now?
Come up with at least one thing that I feel confident or good at in jiu-jitsu. Mm-hmm. I feel better. I think that's fair. I can say I feel better today about my rear mount escapes.
Good.
Because we worked on those. So and I think if you don't have something that you feel really good about, maybe you can say, I feel better about.
Yep. I think something else that you could say is I'm going to show up.
I do show up.
You do show up.
6 a.m.
They say showing up's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, that could be even a step in a positive thing. It's I'm going to show up and I'm going to put in the work.
Yes. I do that.
Yeah.
Okay, we got one. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. No problem. I'm much better at other people's positive self-talk.
Don't you think we all are, though?
Absolutely. I constantly tell everyone, particularly the competitors, to not listen to the voice in their head, but to listen to my voice in their head because I have faith and belief in them.
Which reminds me, we were asked about making some a recording of an affirmation or a meditation. I think today, after we record this, we should just do one.
Okay.
Since everybody, not everybody, I'm not everybody, is going, Master
Worlds, is coming up. And Jiu-Jitsu Con and all of that. So there will be, 5,000 competitors there.
Yeah. So if you want AJ's voice in your head, instead of your own.
Here we go.
I'm excited now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Also, if you're at Master World's Jiu-Jitsu Con, please come up and say hi. Please get a picture with me. I absolutely love that. And let me know how you know me. Is it from Role Model? Is it from the podcast? And I'll share that on the Instagram as I go through the world.
And then I'll be sad that I'm at home not getting to see everyone.
Exactly. Let's give her FOMO, people.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Hardware and FOMO.
That's right. I also liked just the statement of the athlete I was in the past will not determine who I will become in the future. So that, if you're coming off of a loss or maybe several losses, that doesn't determine what is next. I think my purple belt journey is a great example of that. My first purple belt match, I won Nogi Worlds a month after I got my purple belt. And then I lost the entire time I was a purple belt. But that didn't define me. I was able to change that. And then I won gi pans, so that athlete in the past didn't define who I was for that future. Things like this, I think being able to remind yourself that is helpful.
Very, very helpful. In the visualization, I thought it was really interesting how he was talking about performance cues and that it's not just you see yourself as an observer when you visualize, because I feel like that's kind of how I'd always thought about it. And he's like, no, you are experiencing it. You are doing the thing. You are feeling it. What does it smell like? What does it look like? Who's there?
What are the sounds?
What are the sounds? All of that I thought was really fascinating, because I don't think I've committed to my visualization that much in the past, and really thought about, this is what it, like, I see this person, I don't see me out
as
there.
that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big one for me.
Yeah. When you talk about like the cues and stuff too, one of the things he talks about was thinking of a time, and we've done this in our comp training. So I've been doing different visualizations every Friday in our comp training.
Nice.
And the last one that we did was think of a time that you were very successful. And it could be anything. It doesn't have to be jiu-jitsu. It could be something, play you were in, or something, promotion you got at work, or anything like that. There's something you feel that success in your body. Even it could just be around in the gym where you were like, normally this dude takes me, but today I put it on him.
Yeah.
So just like feeling that in your body, and then getting a physical cue with it. So maybe it is, like clenching your fist, or like smacking your thighs or your arms, or the smile on your face, like anything like that. So like the physical cue, and then associating a word with it. And I was telling the students that it reminded me of Diego Sanchez, which I've been around longer than them. Some of my listeners will know, but Diego would walk out to the cage, and the entire time would just be like, yes, 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 like over and over and over again. And he got made fun of it, for it. But I mean, it's a good thought process. Just having that physical something and that word cue. If you watch Tony Robbins, he has his own little thing he does before he's like that, like before he goes out on stage, it like fires him up, and he does a little skip step, and things like that to like just get you going.
Do you have a word?
I don't. I've been trying to work on what it is, and it can be a phrase too, but I've been trying to work on it. Even if it's just, I love this, or maybe it's like go or rise.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you have a word?
I have a word.
Ooh, what is it?
Towanda.
Towanda. Okay, we're going to need an explanation.
Some people will know. Probably Gen Xers. Maybe if we have any boomers that listen to this. Did you ever?
Old Gen Xers.
Old Gen Xers. Exactly.
I was like, I'm a Gen Xer, but just on the cuffs.
It's from Fried Green Tomatoes.
Okay.
And Kathy Bates, who I love, she's a little older, and there were some younger girls in this parking lot, and they were being really mean, like took her parking space.
I have seen that clip. Probably have seen the movie, but that's probably the only clip I remember.
And
from it.
she was done with their foolishness, so she was like, Towanda, and made them pay the price. And I'm like, if that works, for that lady in Fried Green Tomatoes, that works for me.
So that's your battle cry.
That is my battle cry.
Why? I'm like, how? Why? What?
I don't know. But whenever I think about that, I'm just like, like I am done.
Yep.
I'm going to go get what I want. It is mine.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
That's the mental attitude you have to have. Like,
I think so.
That's mine. You can't take it from me.
There you go.
Yeah.
I want to hear what everyone else's word is or phrase. So please message us with like, what is your go-to? Yeah. What's your battle cry?
And do you have a physical thing to attach it to? Because, as I was taking everyone through the visualization, I couldn't think of a lot of different things that you could do. So if you have something to add to that, I would love to hear it.
Well, and I think about it too, even during rounds today. If I was like, I don't want to be here, Towanda.
Okay, good. And because you don't want to have that thought of, I don't want to be here.
Right.
You
it's
want
like, I'm going to go get what I
want to be somewhere else. Like I want to be on top, or I want to be, like that's that positive self-talk too, right? Like it's not just I'm good at jiu-jitsu or something like that, but it's I'm going to implement my game plan.
And I think being able to reconnect with that in the moment is going to be very helpful for me.
Yeah.
So when you're coaching me,
I was going to say, that's exactly what I was just thinking. All right. When I'm coaching you, like if I would yell, Towanda,
go.
And like, that's your battle cry. Let's go.
Yes.
I love that. So especially if I'm coaching you, if you have a battle cry word, I want to know what it is.
Yeah, it's just helpful.
Yeah.
And it's going to sound way better with you saying it than me.
Well, you can't talk during a match, so you'd only be able to say it in your head.
Right. So I need to hear it outside of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if people want to tell me what their battle cry is and they want a like personal recording, I'll record it for them.
I love that. What's next?
Let's talk about the desire statement a little bit.
Okay.
Right? So creating a desire statement that's motivating for you.
Yes.
And writing it down. He actually suggests that you write your desire statement every morning and every night for 10 days in a row.
Ooh, I got to do that.
Yeah, I didn't do that part either. I forgot until I was prepping for this that was supposed to be a thing.
I'm really good at reading books, but not always good at the implementation and the execution and practicing what I've learned in them.
Yeah, which I think is why like doing this podcast about it has also been helpful for me because it's put it in my head more. And like for me, I've been reading this as I've been prepping the team for Worlds.
Yes.
So that helps me implement it for them, which I think helps me, eventually implement it for myself when I go back into a comp training.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So my desire statement is, I want to perform at my best. I want to win gold.
That's great.
Yeah. Did you have a desire statement?
It's a little harder, I feel like, since I'm not training for a competition.
I'm not either, but I used it as
You
if I
will,
were.
though.
I will. I absolutely will.
I'm like,
maybe. Yeah.
But I did say that I am becoming a black belt.
Ooh, yes.
That's something that I actually, hopefully, have some control over. I'm committed to doing those things that will get me there.
Yeah.
And then the reward statement of that being all of the, the things that I learn and the people I meet on the way to getting that black belt.
Yeah.
That's the reward. Like the belt itself is not as much as all the things that happen on the way.
Which is something that people should remember about all their belts, right? Like the belt itself isn't probably why you do jiu-jitsu, and if it is, you're not doing it for the right reason, right? Like you do it for a million other reasons, but the belt is just 2 inches around your waist.
Right.
And just as a little aside right now, somebody was talking on the team about, like feeling bad about like people passing them up and like they were falling behind or whatever. And I was like, the thing is, if you stick to it, we're all the same belt one day. The people that I looked up to as a white belt, I'm the same rank as now. And that's just really cool. So like, don't worry so much about the day to day, stick with it. And someday you'll be a black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that easy, friends.
It's that easy. Just keep at it. My reward statement was, by doing so, I'll be proud of the work I put in and the push to beat out other black belts.
Yeah.
So really just being proud of myself. Yeah.
That's a good reward.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's a good feeling.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Breathing. He talked a lot about breathing.
Yeah.
And breathing into your belly versus just the shallow breathing into your chest. Even just coming into class, taking a couple breaths to kind of just reset after traffic.
Yeah. Yep.
If you live in Indianapolis or a bigger city or maybe even a small town,
Stuck behind a tractor.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
And I sometimes get worked up about that. And if I can just take a couple deep breaths, like those big, deep belly breaths, and just kind of reset and refocus. And even during rounds, especially, when you're on the bottom and it super sucks, but just getting to that position where you can breathe a little bit, it makes me feel not as panicky when I can get there.
Yep. Yeah. Breathing is important.
It is.
And I tell all the students, your first 6 months, my main goal as your coach is to remind you to breathe. And some people even longer than that, like breathe.
Sometimes I'm trying to choke someone and you have to remind me to breathe.
Yeah.
It still happens.
Have this feeling that like we have to hold our breath when we're straining or pushing, but that's not true. Like breathe through it. You're way more likely to get the submission if you're breathing through it. And I always joke, you'd be really embarrassed if you passed out trying to choke me.
I feel like I come close.
There was a part where he talked about having a calming word. Did you come up with a calming word?
No. I must have glossed right over that.
That's definitely one of your goals. Mine is actually marshmallow.
Why?
When I was a little kid and I would fake meditate, I have no idea where I got this, but I just have such strong memories of me like sitting going, marshmallow. Marshmallow. I probably didn't know what the word mellow meant and probably thought that they were saying marshmallow. And yeah, so that's...
I mean, that might work for me.
I really think it's like a good word. Like, I'll remember my calming myself, soothing myself as a child.
Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
I like it. Yeah. I feel very good.
Good.
I feel very centered and grounded and calm.
Yeah. And I want a s'more.
That could be a reward statement. Oh, posture.
You know, it's funny. This actually reminds me, Cassidy Riley, one of Rachel's black belts. We hadn't said Rachel's name yet, so
Rachel Casillas. Yeah, Rachel Casillas. Rachel Casillas. I was really hoping she would show up like Beetlejuice.
But Cassidy had posted that she read the research about the superhero pose and like standing tall with your hands on your hips.
Yes.
And so she did like all of the women posed like that, kind of just like this power stance. And that kind of reminded me of that as like the good posture.
It made me think of, did you watch Ted Lasso?
I didn't.
Put it on your list.
All right.
But Rebecca Welton, like there's this great scene where she has to go into this meeting and it's all dudes. And like she has this I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes. It's so good. Yeah.
All right.
We might have to implement that somewhere.
Okay. I have no idea what you're talking about, but
you'll love it.
Yeah, I'm sure that I will.
Yes. And you really need to watch that show.
Honestly, too, like if there's that moment, that's kind of that cue too, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's it. Maybe it's a power stance and your word's power or something.
Yeah.
It could be. Yeah.
Towanda.
I like that. I hope you guys are watching this on YouTube.
Towanda.
You look
getting
like
better.
The kitty that's about to attack.
That's the energy I'm bringing to it. A crazed kitten.
Yes.
That has no boundaries and no fear because I have one at home.
Yes.
I'm very inspired. My Jiu Jitsu is now inspired by Maz Catnada.
Maz Catnada.
That's her name.
That's very cute.
But even sitting here, sometimes I feel like I got to remind myself.
Yep.
We're podcasters.
We should.
We're very confident in our podcasting skills.
All I'm doing is
posture.
talking. I can do that. That's
yeah. But I think about, especially walking into a room for the first time, like chin up or, Mrs. Maisel inspired. We can get other things up.
Yep.
All of it's up. Shoulders back.
I love that too. That's a good cue word. I mean,
it is.
Like, maybe not necessarily in jiu-jitsu unless you're getting triangled or something, but like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
If you haven't watched Miss Maisel, maybe you put a little clip of that in. I don't know if that's our brand. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have, he didn't talk about this, but this is my style. Do you have any kind of like anthem song, like to get you fired up?
I made a playlist recently, and it's not so much the songs, it's like the energy of the artist on the songs. So it's Freddie Mercury, it's Tina Turner, it is, like there's some George Michael on there, but it's like very big rock star personality.
Two of those that you mentioned are ones you've done lip sync battles to.
Maybe there's a theme there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I expect George Michael next. Maybe.
Oh, he was on there too. Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Right? You said he's on the thing, so I expect him for a lip sync battle next.
Well, you never know. You never know.
So mine is I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, Taylor Swift.
Okay.
Literally will play that song on repeat just over and over and over.
Yeah.
She says, you got to fake it till you make it. And I did.
Yeah.
I'll go on, but there's one cuss word in it. But yeah, I think that song is just perfect.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit my mark.
I think on this list, also Beyonce, Yeah, Yeah. Like that is just, I don't know how that song couldn't get you going. And then the Tina Turner version of The Bitch Is Back. Those have been the two.
Yeah. I love that.
The two for right now.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love an anthem. If you really ask like what kind of genre of music I like, it is the kind of song that's like just an anthem. Like I love the stuff that's like, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
I just like that music in the morning. There's a energy wake playlist or something like that on Spotify that I've been listening to constantly. That's just like a lot of powerful, uplifting music for the morning. And that gets me going.
Should we make an anthem playlist?
Ooh, okay.
Because we can do that in Spotify.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Look for an anthem playlist.
And if you have a
Spotify.
song that you think we should add,
yes,
please
message
let us know. Yeah. Because I'd love to hear what your anthems are.
Yes.
That's my brand.
We have so many calls to action.
We
and
do.
Things for people to do.
So much for you guys to do.
A lot. We need to hear from you a lot about the 5 things you're good at in jiu-jitsu or in life. If you can't come up with 5 things for jiu-jitsu, 5 things in life that you're good at and what your anthems are. Because this playlist is going to be epic.
And your cue.
And your cue.
And come see me at Worlds.
Yeah.
So many things. Let's do it all.
So many things. I would like to wrap up with this one, unless you have more.
No, it's
find the joy in your training. He talked about joy.
Yeah.
And I think when I come in, especially if I'm kind of singing while we're doing rounds, I roll so much better. I'm so not in my head, and it's joyful and it's fun.
Yeah.
And, that's why I have my playlist. Makes me in a fun mood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Find the joy, friends.
When people are about to walk out on the mat to compete, I tell them their job now is 2 things. Go out and have fun and do your best. Like that's it. All the work is done. You know jiu-jitsu. You know your game plan. Do your best to execute it. Go out and have fun and do your best. That's it. That's the joy.
I love it.
Yeah.
On and off the mat tips for this week?
Well, I think faking it till you make it is a pretty good one.
Okay.
I think if you are struggling with positive self-talk, we all know in theory we're supposed to do affirmations, but we feel silly doing it, right? So that fake it till you make it, like just do it until it feels normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is, and he mentioned this in the book, which it feels very appropriate, find a role model.
Oh, yes.
And study what they do. How do they show up? How do they walk onto the mat? Which I think we maybe talked about a little bit in the last episode. But I know for me, as a musician, that's everything I've ever done.
Yep.
Is what did they do? How did they play that?
Yeah.
What would they do? How would they approach this, solo or whatever? And I think that it makes a lot of sense, especially if you can find somebody that has a game style similar to yours.
Right.
Like, what do they do?
Yep. Yeah.
And do that. Until that goes back to faking it until you make it. Until you've got yours really locked in and you need direction, go find somebody that's already there.
Yeah. I love that. And you can have role models in different aspects, right? Like, from a competition standpoint, from an instructor standpoint, like I said, like I study the teaching part of it too.
Yeah.
So, you can have different role models in different ways, but I love that. Definitely finding a role model and someone to look up to and emulate would be good.
That's it. That's all I got.
This may be
Towanda.
I got to think of my word. This may be my favorite podcast. I think this was so good.
I enjoyed it.
So good. Oh. Yeah.
I did it. I was there. I participated.
We made it happen.
We did. We just keep showing up.
We do.
People keep downloading it, watching it on YouTube. If you haven't watched us on YouTube and you're listening in your car, go to Beauty and the Gi podcast on YouTube, subscribe, watch some of it.
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It brings a little extra,
Yes.
I think.
Oh, we
too.
are extra.
We are extra.
So
for
are
sure.
all the tubs I still have to put away from camp. That's extra.
Got a very fancy background.
Our backdrop is.
You know, this is where we are. This is where it makes sense to talk about jiu-jitsu.
Maybe the next time I'll be decorated for Halloween because I'm going to decorate in like September. So
Well, of course you are.
yeah.
I'm hoping that more Star Wars finds its way in since we had some, I think Darth Vader's spooky.
That's true.
He's very scary.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
All right, friends, thanks for tuning in or listening. And you can hang out with us if you just can't get enough. You can find us on Instagram at Beauty and the Gi Podcast. I'm also there at Brassy Broad Jen and hanging out on TikTok at Brassy Broad Jen.
I'm AJ Klingerman everywhere you go, except TikTok. I guess I'm roll_model.
All right. You're smart. You'll find us. And I'm going to put links in the show notes to make it even easier. So you just hit the link and there we are.
And there we are.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Tap the link or you won't find us.
Yeah. Calling Beetlejuice won't help.
No, exactly. If he does show up though, let us know.
Oh, one quick thing I'd like to invite people to is
Yes.
our stand-up camp we have coming up.
Yes.
September 20th through the 22nd. It is here at our gym, and we're going to cover gi takedowns, no gi takedowns, guard pulls, all of that in a very safe manner. These takedowns are all meant to be for anybody, right? So this is in our white belt camp edition. We have people of all ranks coming, but it's meant to help us be more confident on our feet.
I love it.
You can register at rolemodelswanted.com.
And then you can write it down on your 5 things.
That's right. Good at takedowns.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be nice?
Oh my God. Being good at my stand-up is exactly what made me confident in jiu-jitsu. In competition, being able to stand up and not worry about how we got to the ground definitely made me way more confident.
There you have it, friends. You heard it here. Beauty and the Gi is a production of the Brassy Broadcasting Company.
And brought to you by Role Model Grappling. Dun, 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 dun.